what's up, Sumolings? I'm Christy with AppSumo. Welcome, happy Friday. I'm so excited that you're here. Today we're joined by Drew, who is founder and CEO of BirdSeed. Drew, welcome.
Hey there, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yay, we are happy to have you. All right, so you're here for a demo of BirdSeed. Awesome, I'm happy you're here. If you're not familiar with what BirdSeed is, it's an all-in-one website engagement suite featuring 12 powerful tools to help you generate leads and increase conversions. And it's free for a year on AppSumo right now. I know that I was very impressed with this tool when I went ahead and did the demo so I could create the video for it. And I think that you guys will be equally impressed too. So in a second, I'm gonna shut my camera down and Drew's gonna take over. He's gonna take you through a demo of the software. If at any point you have a question for him, go ahead and use the Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. Try not to put your question in the chat box because I promise you it will get lost and I won't get to it. So definitely use the Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. And once Drew's done his demo, I'm gonna come back on and ask him your questions live. So that way you can just focus on the demo and don't necessarily have to keep your eye on the question and answer box. And then if you can't make it until the end, that's okay because I'm going to be sending out a replay of this webinar later today. I'm also going to put it up on YouTube so you can go back and catch up on what you missed or just go ahead and rewatch the whole thing again. So Drew, I've told them all that I need to tell them. Let's go ahead and make sure that your screen sharing works and then I'll let you take it away.
Perfect. Yeah, let me go ahead and share what I got here. Is this, can you see my screen at this point?
Yes, we can. Awesome. Cool. All right, I'm going to shut down and you're good to go. Awesome.
Well, guys, thanks again, for joining us today. Definitely appreciate you giving me some time to show you kind of what we have. We've built something that I know is kind of a free promotion, as Christy mentioned, with AppSumo, but we've really been working a long time on it and super excited. So wanted to kind of just show a few slides to start off with to kind of keep it structured. I know that definitely helps me, but wanted to kind of go through a few things. What is BirdSeed? That's the first thing we'll kind of talk about. The next thing is we'll talk about kind of a comparison of what BirdSeed is to some other options out there. With a lot of crowds, I would talk about, things that are earlier, I would worry about or think about things that are, can everyone hear me okay, by the way? Just want to make sure that everything's working well on my end. I'm going to assume so. Okay, let me see here in the chat before we get started. Chat here. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So, yeah, just wanted to, talk about a comparison of BirdSeed to other options. I know a lot of times with earlier stage people, I would kind of talk about, what it is and what it does, but I know you guys have a lot of different options, products you've seen, so that's not as needed. Then we'll talk about just the software. We'll go through a quick demo. I'll show you around the product. Then we'll talk about what's kind of coming soon, and then we'll talk about the offer. All right, so BirdSeed, we take 12 different tools and we build them into one button that goes into or creates a one panel. And again, that's kind of where my anxiety came from, was just making sure that a whole bunch of things we've been working on throughout the night were live. I think they are. So they can be launched from one button. They're all built in together. You can have them on every page in your website, your landing page, sales funnel, whatever it might be. You can even add them to an application if you want to. Typically people, when they use it in an application, it's more of a support capacity. This is more of a sales and marketing type scenario in terms of where our product is used. Top of funnel, trying to find new visitors, trying to convert those visitors to potential customers. But we do have some people, including ourselves, that use it in a support capacity. The nice part about BirdSeed is you can take those different tools and you can show them to different people based upon availability. And what's nice about that is just that, it's always a seamless experience in that whenever someone visits your website, even outside of regular business hours, they're able to see things that are available to them right at that time. So it's really nice. I'll show you more about that and explain a little bit more in a moment. But we also, that's one of the things that people ask us is, but what if you want to focus on different tools and show different things in different places? And that's where proactive messages come into play, and we'll go into that as well in a little while. At this point, what I want to do kind of is show you what, quickly, I'll come back to this. When we talk about the value of BirdSeed, kind of the different tools that we offer, we talk about kind of 4 different categories. Your early stage buyers, people who are more in the discovery phase. They're just looking to see what you offer, see if it's fit for what they're looking for, and the different things that they need. So we have tools, and we'll talk about those in a moment, that cater to that. Then you have people that already know what they're looking for. They're trying to figure out if you're more of a fit for that product or service. Then let's say they're at that point where they've discovered, they've learned, they've found out the information they're looking for. Now they're ready to move forward with somebody, and they want information, real time. They want to connect. So there's tools that when you're available real time, we have available to those visitors. But then also, more importantly, and this is one of the things that with small businesses typically happens most of the time. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a second when we're comparing it to other options. But what ends up happening is that needing to have something available to visitors at all times is super crucial. As a small business, you may not be available at all times. So we have 12 different tools, and each one of those categories, just to kind of show you briefly, our knowledge library is an example of a discovery tool, an early stage. Somebody just wants information they're trying to gather for either their, maybe to bring back to their team, or maybe just themselves to understand, is your product or service a fit for them? We also have a video showcase. This is almost like having a webinar, an on-demand webinar on your website, or maybe just a series of different videos you want to display to people. You can upload those. You can record those as your screen, with your webcam, or upload those, or embed those, excuse me. We also have what's called Link Launcher. This is very basic, but it's a way of linking to another URL, another resource, some other thing that you're trying to promote, but within our ecosystem of tools within the panel. Those are more early stage discovery tools. Then we have client testimonials. Obviously, from a credibility perspective, it's a pretty obvious thing. Not only can we display your existing testimonials, we can even help you capture those. They can be text, they can be video, really, really helpful. Next tool is our events timeline. This can be used in a number of different ways. We keep it generic at this point. We'll continue to build it out. It could be a product roadmap. It could be events you have coming up. It could be events you've had take place recently. All types of different use cases for it. But the whole idea is there's a credibility piece of saying, hey, we're relevant, we're doing stuff, we have things going on. From a user feedback perspective, this is pretty obvious. You can gather information, collect information from your visitors about your website, about you as a company, maybe their experience in their particular industry that you offer. But again, it's more of a credibility piece that you're trying to gather information from your potential customers. Then in terms of real-time connection, you've got call request, and we'll show you that one a little bit later, but that is similar. The way we've built this is similar to a live chat, which I think would be really, really helpful for a lot of businesses. Obviously, live chat, we'll talk more about that. And then just your contact information and letting them know when you're available. Again, what's nice is, like as an example with the phone contact, we take up a lot of space on our website sometimes to display a phone number. But the reality is that if somebody's at your website at 10 o'clock at night and you're not available, why show them a phone number? It's not an option to them. It's not something they consider. It's not something they can use. So the nice part about our tool is you can have the opportunity to only show it when it's available and relevant to them. Then we talk about the things that are kind of after hours, when you're not available, or maybe to help you in lieu of having to support them via live chat, via a call request. So for instance, when someone's on your website and maybe they want to schedule a meeting with you, maybe they're just in a hurry, but they want to make sure that something gets accomplished during that short period of time they have right there with you. Email capture tool, this can be used in a number of different ways to download a white paper, sign up for an event, anything where it's a simple, soft engagement of here's my email address, and you're going to be providing me something in return for that email address. It's for those people who say, hey, I'm ready to give you a little something, but I'm not ready to kind of connect with you fully yet. And then obviously a contact form. As you'll see here in a little while, one of the things that we do with a lot of our tools is we use video, I think, in kind of a unique way, especially specific to recording personal webcam videos. But as an example, like with your contact form, you can add a video to the top of it. I'll show you on our website how we use it in that exact capacity. So those are different tools. I want to be clear on the front end, and I'll mention more about this later, that no one uses every one of our tools. No one. And in fact, again, based upon your hours of operation and when you're available, you're only going to display different tools when you're there and when you're not, presumably. You also don't have to use tools such as live chat at all. A lot of times people say, well, yeah, but live chat really, it's hard for us to support as a company. Perfect. That's why we built this tool. That's an example of why we felt the need for creating a product similar to BirdSeed. So coming back to this, and again, I promise to keep it quick. You know, we talk about you know, the different, you know, what is BirdSeed? Sorry, we talked about that. 12 different tools, one button, any page, it can be used on a website, a landing page, whatever property you own that you're driving traffic to. You know, the value of kind of what we are providing, I think, is that top of funnel, the biggest problem that all businesses face, and you guys know this, you've seen all types of different, you know, software to cater to this, is that's the biggest drop-off point. But we also have so many more ways that we want to own the experience. So for instance, you know, we may start that journey on a Facebook, you know, where it is someone who really doesn't know, you know, maybe about our product or service, but we're going to bring them to our own content or our own branded experience. And then that's why it's so crucial for us to have them make the leap. So the next thing, BirdSeed versus other options. Again, with this crowd, the AppSumo crowd, we know that you guys know kind of what these are used for. You know the different products out there. You probably own a lot of the other products out there. So the question becomes, why have BirdSeed versus other options? So I think for me, the first thing comes down to is space and time. I kind of came up with that the other day. You know, the idea is you only have so much space on your landing page, on your website. There's only so many CTAs you can have. And so having different things on there creates clutter, and that is a definite problem and creates confusion among visitors. You guys know this. And so of course, that's what we're trying to accomplish. That's what we're trying to avoid by having all those tools in one place. That's the space aspect. And also, you know, not just even in one place, but what if typically you had a knowledge library, you wanted someone to see it, but it was hidden on maybe a pricing page. So space is crucial and very important. The other thing in relation to time, let me take one quick sip here. In relation to time, is that, you know, us as humans, we have so many other things. Again, just the fact that if you somehow stayed on this webinar and didn't leave at this point, you know, there's some other things that take our time and take our attention and our focus that if we don't capture someone's attention quickly, we're going to lose them, which is, you know, why I did that thing at the beginning there, was just to kind of make sure there was that thing that you'd remember from this experience and you'd want to stay. I'm kidding. That was really anxiety. But ultimately, you know, we have to capture someone's attention quickly. And that's the goal of what we're trying to accomplish from a time perspective, is that if within the first couple of seconds, whatever tools you're using, they don't accomplish that, you run the risk. You run the risk of losing them. So there's three things we'll talk about really quickly, and I'll make it quick before we get into the demo, which is why I know you guys are here. Live chat. That's the biggest thing we're going to be compared against. The free options out there, the very expensive options out there, you know, the fact of the matter is there's tons of them. But live chat as a whole, you know, the dilemma becomes, how do you support it? And if you have a good team to support it, BirdSeed may or may not be the right option for you. But I will tell you, for those that don't have a huge team, if you had 20 employees, 10 employees, 5 employees, 20 employees, but you really rely on your website or your landing page to be that first, you know, starting point, that point of decision, that point of connection, you know, if you can't support live chat well or fully at all times, that's why BirdSeed is such a powerful tool, is because you have limitations. The people who aren't ready for live chat, the people who don't want to use live chat, they just don't prefer it as a method. But more importantly, or most importantly, for small businesses that are open, you know, 40 hours a week, 73% of the time, that means that they can't support live chat. So we have other tools to cater to those visitors. And then of course, just supporting it as a whole. So limitations of people who want to use it or can use it, and then also being able to have to support it at all times. By the way, one of the things I mentioned before that is that, you know, because we do offer live chat, having different tools in concert is super important. Meaning someone may start their journey on your website, they may see they may not be ready to chat with you, but because they saw something in a knowledge library, maybe they watched a video, maybe whatever it was they needed, they started, but they were sold in that experience in the first couple of minutes. Super important to have all those different things there ready for them, not just as a separate visitor that might visit your website, but someone even maybe that gets sold during that session on your website. So that's kind of, I think, the opportunity of where we can you know, compare to live chat. Chatbots, they're all the rage. I get it. Everyone loves them. I think they're fun. I won't comment on them because I know there's a lot of people who love different chatbots. The only thing I will just say is that for whatever chatbot you're using, I think the key thing to make sure is, you know, in terms of the experience, is it something that the user really wants to use? Is it something that they're going to make use of? They may want to play with it, right? They may want to interact with it, but is it something they're actually going to start a relationship with you or move the needle in that relationship? And then of course, you know, is it just collecting information? What's the goal of that chatbot? You know, if you can answer those two questions and you do think that the user not only enjoys the experience, but also finds value in the experience, and then also has different things where they can find, I guess, you know, value at the end of it, not just, hey, let me grab some information and contact you later, then that's the key. With BirdSeed, you're immediately getting tools that will be offering, you know, hopefully value to the customer. As an example, you know, to have a knowledge library or to have a white paper available to someone within a couple of seconds, they don't have to go through a conversation that may or may not be with a computer. Again, all that, I'm not, you know, trying to knock chatbots. They're wonderful, but you know, obviously we have to talk about what our opportunity is versus them. And then I guess the final piece is pop-ups. This is kind of a vague, you know, there's so many different conversion optimization experiences that people talk about. There's different products out there. Visually, they look good, but they'll be in different places. They'll be in different areas. And of course, you know, the problem just becomes the clutter, as I talked about before. And then what value are they offering by themselves intrinsically? You know, it's one thing to link to something else where you either have to go off page or go to a back page, but to have that immediate value right there, that's what we're talking about. Anyhow, okay, so let's see, demo. Here's what I'm talking about in the demo. We're going to start by talking about how to create your account. Then we're going to talk about a quick walkthrough of the platform as a whole. We're going to build an engagement panel or look at an engagement panel that has been built and kind of go through some things. If during the Q&A section someone wants me to go back through something, I'd be happy to. We have 12 tools, so going through each one of them would be a little bit time consuming for someone here. We're going to add a proactive message or show you what a proactive message looks like. And then we're going to talk about how you connect to other applications, because I think that's super important for people. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention here is that through the AppSumo, and we get this question a lot, is through AppSumo, you know, people will get their code, and we've offered up to 10 codes. The first code presumably should be easy for you. If it's not, certainly contact our support. You know, we apologize if there's been a delay. There certainly has been. We've had a tremendous demand, and we're just really trying to keep up with it. But we're very, very close to being what we expect to be within an hour during business hours response time. All that to say, you know, you would come to this link, app.birdseed.io/AppSumo, enter your email address, and then enter your AppSumo code. Okay. That's it. From there, you should be able to create the rest of your username as well as your account. It's very basic. We only ask a few pieces of information. The caveat here, and this is the thing that we get asked a lot, is, okay, but I got 10 codes. How do I add more? And so, you know, it's very, very simple. You would do the exact same thing. So as long as you use the same email address and then enter your next code right here, this will allow you to create your account. Now, in this situation, we're no longer going to ask about your user information because we know who the first user is on the account. At that point, though, we are just going to ask you what you want to call the account name. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes a little more sense. In the people that we've done demos with, you know, once we've shown that to them, it made a little more sense. And I apologize if there was not clarity on the front end there. But, you know, obviously up to your 10 accounts, you should be able to connect them pretty easily and then switch between them as we'll see here. Okay, going into the demo and the walkthrough. We're going to log in, and I'm just going to show you around. The first thing I want to do is just show you kind of around the account and where the different areas are when someone logs in. What we're showing you here is the dashboard, okay? And you know, on the dashboard, we're first going to show you about 6 different videos that you can dismiss. I'm going to dismiss them for now, which means they'll come back, but you can actually dismiss them completely if you want to, so they don't come back. Again, I'm going to do very high level in the dashboard, but you know, we can talk through in the Q&A, or obviously if somebody wants to schedule a demo. Any forms that you're using or that you have turned on within BirdSeed, they're going to show numbers here. All these are time driven, so you can choose different time frames. If you have scheduled meetings turned on, this is where they'll show up right here. In the activity overview, this will show you an overview of kind of your activity, the number of clicks to your different engagement tools, and then the number of contacts. So obviously the 3 different levels that you have there. one of the things I just want to show you quickly is that if you have your knowledge library turned on, we can actually tell you the questions that people are clicking on, the number of people that are clicking on them, obviously unique visitors. We also can tell you the things that people are searching for. Now, this is a demo account, so there's not a lot of searching going on here. But if you go to that area, that will actually show you the terms that people are searching for. That can be super powerful for people. Again, contingent upon you having that tool turned on. So that is the dashboard, very straightforward, presumably. The next thing would be active conversations. We're going to come back to that because that's, I think, a lot of the bread and butter. But to be clear, that's live chats as well as our call request tool. Our call request tool, as we'll talk about in a moment, is similar to a live chat experience. It's not just enter your phone number and we'll call you back later. We wanted to create something that I think was a little bit more unique there. This is your inbox. Your inbox is where every contact that comes in, it will be shown, and you can click on each one of the contacts. And let's see, I want to make sure I'm clicking on the right thing here. All right, so it looks like Mickey the Mouse submitted something. We can organize these, we can archive them, we can assign them to other people. There's a whole bunch of things you can do within the inbox. One of the things I just want to say on the front end, if there's not clarity there, because I think this is very helpful for people, is that, the battle you face with software these days when you're building it is, when somebody says all in one, we're very horizontal. Horizontal in the sense that, on someone's website, on the front end, we try to create all those different tools to create engagement quickly for someone. But we're only horizontal, we're not vertical, in the sense that we didn't want to be, the tool that, we also manage all of your contacts, and then we're sending out emails and all the different stacks that people put together. We wanted to focus on one thing because we felt like there's a lot of opportunity just in what we're trying to create here. So we will continue to build this out and focus on this, but as of now, beyond the inbox that we have here, anything that you want to do with the forms or the submissions that come in, through the contact form, and we'll talk more about this with Zapier here in a moment, but anything that happens after the fact, we're going to connect you to the applications that you're already using. The thought is that, if somebody found our product, more than likely, they already have a CRM, they already have a help desk, they already have an email marketing solution. And especially because we have different types of tools, they're probably also going to want to send those different forms different places. So a new contact form might go to your CRM. I think you probably get the obvious thing. Someone downloads a white paper or wants to sign up for your e-news, that's presumably going to go to your email marketing. So at this point, just to be very direct, you cannot email from the inbox. This is a collection, and it will show you all the different things, that you have within any contacts that have come in. So next thing is customized tools. I'll come back to that one because that's where we're going to spend most of our time in terms of building a panel, and that's where you would spend most of your time in terms of building a panel as well. Manage users. I think the thing that's important to talk about here is that you can create teams. On our free plan, you have one user. You can't go beyond that. And for a lot of small businesses, one user is more than enough. We have a plus plan and a pro plan, and any AppSumo user for 1 full year gets our pro plan, which has up to 15 users. There's 15 users in one account, and we have one engagement panel, and that is one code. We'll come back to that later, but I just wanted to mention that, with the users, they're all going to be in this section. So I have 2 users active. I can invite additional users. There's no reason to do it right now, but the one thing in the basis and the reasoning behind having multiple users, outside of just the fact that most people can, learn about different, contacts that came in or respond to live chats, the bigger issue is, or the benefit there is that you can organize people into teams. And when you organize them into teams, you'll see when we get to this in a moment, is that with the form fields, one of the form field types that we have is teams, and so you can route things to specific people. So as an example, let's say you have 2 different locations, right? And you want to organize a team by, the north building and then the south building, or maybe it's sales and support. You can have just people on, in building A, and when that live chat comes in, only they see it, only they get it. If it is a contact form, it only goes to them. I'm sure you get the point. But that's the value there, and it can be really nice so that it doesn't have to go to everyone. Proactive messages, I said that I'm going to do that after creating the panel, so we'll talk about that. But that is the section for proactive messages. The panel settings, this is where you choose kind of what your panel looks like. And I will show you that here now because, you know, we have a starting point already for a panel in this test account. And so, you know, one of the things that I was getting anxiety about at the beginning of this was I was looking to make sure that, frankly, everything looked good. We were trying to make a whole bunch of changes last night, and we really wanted to make it look perfect for you guys today. And because I don't know if you've seen our products before, but as it's evolved and as we've added different tools, the look of it has kind of gotten extended. And so we wanted to make it look perfect and kind of lose a lot of the white space. If you've seen our product, you know what I'm talking about. But either way, we were working throughout the night last night to try and make it perfect. Frankly, it's not. We're still needing to do a little tweaking, but you can see what it looks like right now. Ultimately, in the Style Your Panel area, there's a number of different things that you can do, and I won't go through them right now, but there's a number of different things you can do to change the look and feel of your panel in terms of the color, in terms of, you know, where it's located. You can turn the pulsation on or off if you've seen that on our website. So there's a number of things there. I won't go through them, each one of these issues or each one of these items, because you know, I know the core here is to show you the main functionality, but this is, I think, pretty key and part of our onboarding in the sense that you're going to set your hours of operation. You're going to choose your time zone. You're going to choose what hours you're available, and this dictates when we look at the tools here in a moment. This dictates whether or not something shows during business hours or whether it shows after business hours or at all times. So this is what triggers that, and this is what controls that. Yes. Adding your install code, that's located in this section as well. I won't talk any more about that unless we need to, you know, at the end. The reply to email, this is where if you're responding to a customer or to a visitor, let's say someone schedules an event with you, this is the email address that it will show as coming from when you respond to them. There are two tools that I will tell you ahead of time that we actually have additional sections that we've kind of put here because they're so complex. Scheduled meetings and the testimonials. The thing about the scheduled meetings is not only do we have kind of what you see there on the panel, but then each one of the meetings has their own complexity. So just to kind of show you as an example here, this is one of the meeting types that we have set up. You know, there is a name, there's text, there's the availability for that particular meeting itself. Then you can choose whether you want that to have unlimited time slots, the duration, and then the form fields. And I guess this is probably a good time just to talk about form fields because it's really no different than here than any other section that you're building that people submit information to you. But the point is that we make it very customizable. You can add a new form field, you know, by clicking right there. You can customize kind of what the form field says, what it looks like. Let me see here. So if I hit edit, you'll see that I have a couple different types. I have a name, which is validated by a first and last. I've got an email, you know, the validation there, a phone field validation, custom text field, which is small. Then you have custom text box, which is obviously just a larger area that someone can complete information. We can add a checkbox for you. We can add a pick list, which means you can add multiple options. As an example, I can just add those options here, and then somebody could submit and choose one particular option. And then the last thing I was talking about before, which is the team. So you can add your teams, appropriate them, give them labels on the front end, and then add them. Excuse me. So a lot of functionality, and then you can just drag and drop where the fields show up. So there's a lot of customization that's available and really crucial. And I think really one of the things that helps to make sure that you're getting the right information from our tools, from your visitors, you know, during that time frame. Also, when we talk about the Zapier, or when we show you later how to connect it to Zapier, that's essentially also when that's happening and how it's happening. So just to kind of finish off a few things here, when you add these calendar events for yourself, this is where this will show. The email address or the email confirmation if you want that to be sent out to your visitors that just schedule a meeting with you. And then we connect currently to Google Calendar. Now, we've had some issues recently with that, and we're trying to, you know, basically make sure it works both ways so that one, it blocks off time that's already on your calendar as well as adds the event back to your calendar. But we just launched a brand new UI for our scheduled events. So we were trying to make sure that it worked in relation to that as well, and I'll show you that here in a moment. But that's kind of the gist of you know, the intricacies with scheduled meetings. And then the last part with testimonials capture, I'll just show you. Everyone gets a form that they can choose what they want to collect, but it allows them to capture information or testimonials rather from their customers. So you can send this form out to them. You could use it in your email marketing, you know, whatever it might be. Then the customer, excuse me, will fill out a headline. Then they'll actually have kind of their experience, you know, with you, more information about the experience. They can give you more information about who they are, and then you can customize kind of what they agree to in terms of how testimonial is used. They can also record a video testimonial as well. I'm using Zoom right now, so I don't believe that that'll work, but they can record a video testimonial and then they can submit this to you. What's nice is this comes directly back into BirdSeed. It shows as hidden to begin with. You'll get an email that you got a testimonial, and then, you know, once it's approved, you like it, it's good, you can move it to visible, and then, you know, you have kind of carousel of testimonials. So I know I kind of jumped around a little bit, but I wanted to focus, you know, our time frame today on the engagement panel, because I know that's so important to people, and really it's the core of what our tool is. The last little thing, hopefully it has been noticed, but I know this is super crucial. Obviously log out, that's pretty self-explanatory. For help and support early on, we did have a bit of an issue where this was linking to the wrong area, but if you need help or support, just by clicking on that, that will open up a panel of different tools where you can submit a ticket to us. You can search our internal knowledge library. You can call us, you know, for support. You can join our Facebook group, which certainly you can do that if you haven't. Pretty soon we'll be adding help videos. I would say probably in the next week or two, a whole series of help videos, not only in every section. So if you have a question, you can watch the video there, but also it will be kind of a library of videos using our video showcase. So in many ways, we use our own tools themselves, and you'll see how we connect this to Zapier in a moment. One thing I do want to point out, you know, I have this as a free account, and so when it's free, it'll say add upgrade package. We'll talk about, you know, integrations after we build things, but the one thing that I think is important is, and a lot of people have asked about this, and we've shown it kind of, is that if you have other accounts that you as a user are a part of, what's nice is you can click this panel right here and instantly go right into that account. Now, we know that people are looking for an agency option, basically sub-accounts where if you resell them, whatever, and it is something we are absolutely going to do. We know we're going to do it. It's not, you know, maybe we are going to. But in the short period of time, as kind of a workaround, or maybe just for your use case, if you have multiple websites that you manage, it allows you to click right here and go back and forth in between those accounts. What's nice is you'll see unread items, and if you have different logos, it'll differentiate there as well. But it's a one-click kind of transfer into another account. And a lot of people have asked about that, and I think that's one thing that's nice. You have to log out. As long as your username is a part of that account, it will show up for you as an available account. So I've kind of done the walk around. Now let me talk about customizing the tools. I guess Chris or Christy, let me know if there's any questions, because I don't really know how to look in the Q&A, but if anybody wants me to stop, just let me know and I can do that. So
we do. So wait, we do have some questions in here.
Yeah.
And so, but if you can still go into the tool, we can just handle the questions maybe, you know, right before the end of the webinar. Looks
Perfect.
like we have about 20 minutes left.
Good.
So so I just wanted to give you that heads up. So we do have, you know, a handful of questions. So whenever you're done, just let me know and I'll come back on and ask you those questions.
Sure. I should be able to wrap this up in about 10.
Perfect.
So in terms of building, you know, your panel of tools, you know, we take for granted how we've been looking at this for so long, but I know it may not be obvious to people. When it comes to what you see, you can drag and drop, you know, tools and change them on the panel, and that will then change the order of the tools themselves. If you want to remove a tool from the panel, you literally just hit yes, remove tool. Now, this does not delete the tool. It doesn't change it. It doesn't, you know, remove any of the settings or anything you've built for that particular tool. So once you've added it, just know that you're basically just moving it back and forth. You're adding it or closing it out, basically just showing it or whether or not, you know, showing it or not. You also, if you want to add additional tools, you just click up here. Now I'm using every tool because this is our test account, and we're just always adding different things and playing around with different things. But in terms of the functionality, that is essentially how it works. If you want to see what's available during working hours, you'd click up here, and then after hours, you would have that toggle right there. And so that will allow you to see kind of what is available to you during hours, after working hours. So going into a few of these, and what you're going to see is a very common kind of setup, intentionally. And so I'll really just kind of show some deviations between these tools. But basically, you're going to have obviously what the tool title says in the main navigation menu, your visibility of whether or not you want it shown always during working hours, or after working hours, the panel title, which would be shown when you go into the tool at the top there, the introduction media. Right now, as we mentioned, you can either record a video instantly using your webcam. You just press the button and record it there, and it instantly gets added to the particular tool. There are 3 tools that we currently have an introduction for that you can add to the top. That's the contact form, the email capture, and the live chat. We'll also instantly create a GIF for you so that it is a little bit more engaging with potential visitors. And then you also can embed a video from YouTube or Vimeo. We are definitely looking at other options for the future. You can also, I don't want to remove this here because I have it set right now, but you can also add an image as well. And for instance, I saw somebody recently, it was awesome. They added a GIF instead. So basically while they uploaded the image, it uploaded the GIF, and it was really kind of cool. Let's see here. We already kind of talked about building the form, so that's pretty obvious. Contact, our confirmation email, that's kind of the same as we talked about with the meeting scheduling. And then choosing an icon, you would just hit save and update. So that's the contact form. Each one of these has kind of the same structure. The live chat, again, kind of the same thing where you have an introduction video. We have a recorded video here. There's not too many deviations from this. Again, I'll let you guys ask questions if you want. I think most things are pretty obvious. The video in the knowledge library, that's where you kind of add sections and then add pieces to that section. So for instance, you'll notice right here that we have a section called overview videos and then video library. So when you add a video to this, you're going to choose what you want to call that video and then which section you want to put it in as well. And once you've chosen that and added the video, you just drag and drop it to whichever category you want to have it in. My point is that in, and I'm just trying to go a little bit quicker here because I realize there's a few more things I wanted to show. In the knowledge library, you kind of have the same thing, where you can drag and drop, and it allows you to kind of organize them. If there's a video that you have added to that question, or that question and answer, it will show there. And if there's an image, it will also show there with the icon. Yes, okay, so let me show you, kind of what this looks like as far as a panel is concerned. And then I'm gonna do a test live chat just to kind of show you how that experience kind of starts. Well, I think that the live chat's probably relatively self-explanatory. What I'll probably show you is the request a phone call and show you how that experience works, because that's different than most people have probably ever seen. So you've got to send a message, the contact form there. Let's see here. Live chat, join newsletter. Trying to see what. All right, let me do the request a phone call just to kind of show. We are going to be adding very soon. We've added some validation to let you know when fields are not, showing correctly. So for instance, you see right here that there's no phone. That is something we've added recently. We'll also be adding a country code kind of preface so that depending on what the phone number is, it's structured correctly. That has been a huge issue that we've been trying to make sure that we can help people with, to make sure there's a couple different, make sure there's enough numbers with that form validation so that when you hit submit, it actually does something. So, one second here. Okay, So you saw the browser notification that just came in for the call request, and then the phone number that's requesting it. You saw here that now it goes to a countdown. So it's a real-time experience for this person, which is really kind of nice. So without giving you the backstory of kind of what we wanted to do with this tool, you know, the value here is not that you have, most people we figured have a phone and are able to make a phone call, but what they wanted was to not be caught off guard, either the visitor or the actual operator and the user themselves. So what's nice is that when you see this, you're going to get whatever information they've provided, right? You're going to have their information, more information about them, maybe where they're located. We should have a map right here, so I apologize that's not showing, but more information about who it is that you're supposed to be contacting. Then you can choose to take that phone call. And when you take that phone call, you'll notice that now it'll say, Drew, which is me at this point, Drew is calling you. So it gives you a little more context to who is actually going to be making that phone call to you. During the phone call, you know, it's not a real time, you know, I'm not chatting back and forth, but, you know, I can add notes. They are interested, you know, want to buy, you know, whatever it might be. So I can take notes of the call that takes place there. And then, you know, after it's over, I can hit end call. We had a great time. And then, you know, afterward, they're going to get sent to, when the call is over, you know, to kind of a survey that they can give and provide you more information, and that will go to your inbox. So the value of that tool is that there's a real-time, you know, a real-time expectation that takes place. You as the operator, especially if you have multiple teammates, get to choose who it is that takes that particular call. And then, of course, the visitor has more information about who's calling them. So yeah, I think that hopefully will answer that question. We're running a little short on time, obviously, but so I guess what I'll quickly go to is show you a proactive message and kind of how those work and what those look like, and the value of those. We have a couple that are set right now, but you can add a proactive message that has, you know, an image. It can have video. I think we already showed you how to embed a video, but you can add a video to the top of it. You can add an image to, you know, the top of one as well. Let's see if we have one thing here. I don't have any that are available, but the point is you can add an image to the top of a proactive message. You can add text to it. You can add any of the tools that you want to highlight, and then you can also name that or name that call to action right there. So, you know, we can call it get a call. I can then, and there's a lot of customization that takes place here in terms of showing it to everyone, new visitors repeat. At all times you can show it, or you can show it just during working hours, after hours. Then you can trigger when it is set. So you can have it go automatically, you can have a delay, you can have it go away, you can have it stay open until you decide to close it. Then you can, you know, decide how often you show this. One thing that's key is that if you leave your URL blank, it will show on all your pages. So for some people, like, I don't have to add one every page, you don't have to. As long as that embed code is added to any and every page, that's where this will show. And, but if you do want it to be on a specific page, that is where that would be too, which is also nice. So, you know, you could add an image or a video to, at the top of this to make it a lot more engaging. But the key there is that when people say, okay, well, in different places, we want to show different tools. Totally understand, you know, we do the exact same thing, for instance, on our pricing page. You know, while we have all the different tools available to somebody, we're going to have an embedded video that talks about our upgrade packages, as well as a call to action for our contact form, but it's now that CTA is specific to that. So I think that covers it. I hope it does. It allows you to welcome people to your website, to your landing page, especially if you filmed a webcam recording. It allows you to push people to certain things if you want to, which can also be very helpful. If you've been to our website, you'll notice we have kind of the same thing on ours. We've got a video that you can play right there that was recorded, you know, just with a webcam. So, you know, it's very customizable in that regard. The last thing I'll show you, just to kind of be kind of quick here, is the connection with Zapier. In reference to the connection with Zapier, you know, we have 5 different triggers. The way you get to this currently is by clicking over here under integrations, and then you'll see that there's a couple things. We'll have a video that'll kind of give you more information. Click this link, and that will give you the ability to join or to see our Zapier account. But once you see it in the group, you would choose it as a starting point, as the first part of the step. And we offer 5 different things. So a new meeting scheduled, or a new scheduled meeting, an email capture, new contact form, new live chat request, and a new call request. When any of those things take place, you can customize and disposition each one of the fields. And then, as we talked about before, you can send those to any app that you already work with. It's in their ecosystem. I think they have 1,500 applications right now. Many of them are free. You can have a free account with Zapier. It's so simple. It's so quick to set up. And it's also really, really cool because there's a couple things you can do. One, they have a native thing where you can actually send it to SMS. So if you want to get notified by entering your cell phone number, we can tell you more about that. You can obviously notify Slack for anything that came in instantly. That's all part of their free plan, at least as of now. One of the other things you can do is if you have a drop-down field within ours. Now, I think this is on their paid plan, but it starts at $25 a month. We do not charge you for the integration with Zapier. But basically, if you have a drop-down, you can create multiple Zaps. And so if one of them goes to sales and one of them goes to support, you can actually send those forms different places. So those are just a couple of different things you can do with Zapier. And obviously, for lack of time right now, I don't have the ability to kind of go into it, but would be happy to, later go through that, in more detail with you. So let me see. Let me just go to the next slide. Christy, I've got 2 minutes left, I promise. So I just went through everything in the demo, and I just want to talk about some things we have coming soon. And I apologize for the first couple of minutes of this that kind of made it a little bit longer than it needed to be. We have a list of things that are coming soon, and there's a number of things that we have in our pipeline and we're working on, but I would not list them here. These are things that we are actually working on at the moment. Feedback tool, I actually could show you a version of this, but we have both kind of the front and the back working. It'll be a way for you to have an emotional based, like, do you like it, do you not, or a drop-down list of gathering feedback. Really kind of a cool tool that you can customize and use whichever way you want. We have a desktop application, very, very simple, but allows you to have, BirdSeed essentially open on your desktop at all times. Engagement page, we'll talk more about this later on, but a page with all the different tools that allow you to have kind of a desktop version, which you can use obviously in a mobile experience, but all, like maybe in your Instagram profile, your email signature, your CTA in an email marketing campaign, but allows someone to get a whole bunch of immediate information. All of the tools you have active, they'll be able to see. Mobile app, truth be told, it is not 100% live yet, but just to give some clarity, here is actually the mobile app right here. It is actually live in Android right now, but we are working on some tweaks to make sure the notifications are working. The iOS version, there's just a few other intricacies, but that's coming soon as well. And then we are going to be adding the media. We'll be doing some updates to the media introduction. So for instance, adding native GIFs from Giphy. We're in the process of working on that. And a couple of the ways to upgrade that experience, especially when it comes to filming a webcam video, making that really seamless and easy for somebody. Then the last thing, just to kind of give clarity, because this is, I think, something that we get asked a lot about, our offer is 12 months free. I will tell you, because it's been a long month, we've been in the middle of a lot of stuff. We're still tweaking. We're very, very close, but we're still tweaking a number of things. We'll actually give people an extra 30 days afterwards, because we've used this time, so that basically after the 12 months is up, if you want to have our $99 upgrade option, which would normally be basically $99 per month, it'd be $99 for the pro plan, for AppSumo people, or for AppSumo Sumolings that have taken it. But you get an extra 30 days to choose whether or not you want to upgrade because of some things we've been working on. One code equals one account, which has one panel, which has 15 users. What I just showed you is one account. I know everyone's structured a little bit differently, and I get it, and I apologize, but that's how we're structured. So basically for that $99, you would get one account, which has one panel built into it at this point, and then 15 users on the account. And we don't limit where you can use the URL, but I think as you've seen, and maybe as hopefully you learn, it really ultimately just comes down to, would it make sense to have a multiple URLs? I know with live chat, you can skin it and add it to different places, and it's just, the chat experience is a little bit, different and can be tracked that way. With ours, you add a knowledge library, you add videos, it can be very unique to that experience. So I know I tried to rush through it. I apologize for the beginning. I was, again, without giving more context and backstory, we were up all night long trying to get this thing right. As I started this off, I was making sure that everything was, I was just kind of I was like, oh no, if this thing doesn't go well. So I apologize for taking so long, but that is kind of the quick version of everything. I really appreciate your time. If there's any questions I can answer, if we have any time left.
Of course, we have 5 minutes left, and we have 15 questions. All right,
okay.
it's gonna have to be rapid fire. Drew.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, so we have an anonymous question. It says, can I change the call? Yeah, can I change the callback option to hours instead of minutes? We have a very small phone support team.
Yes. So here's what I would say. You could. We could, and we could add that. And again, I think hopefully the point of me doing that demo for you was to explain to somebody, or to hopefully show that if you're not using it in a real-time capacity, I would really suggest our contact form. Customize our contact form where the goal of it is the phone number itself. You can, because ultimately you can make it look however you want to. Add a video with an introduction that says, hey, we'll give you a call back, or whatever it might be. There's a number of ways you can customize the contact form. I would suggest in that capacity. Could you do this? Yes, but now that you've seen how it works, the reality is somebody going to sit on your website and wait, or your landing page, wherever you're using it? I don't think they will, first off, and otherwise I think it's a disruptive experience to use that tool. I think, frankly, you're probably 3 to 5 minutes max. And actually, one of the things that we're going to be working on is maybe even adding in seconds so that there's a sense of urgency there to really compete with other products out there that are, get a call in 28 seconds and stuff like that, which frankly, I think is way too quick, way too fast. But this is more of a real-time tool. So I would suggest the contact form if you really want to use it in that capacity.
Okay. And so Jeff is asking, can we see how this looks on a smartphone? I don't know if you have the ability to show us what this looks like on a smartphone. Does it show on a smartphone?
It does show on a smartphone. Unless I guess anybody really could pick up their phone right now, go to, on their phone, go to birdseed.io. It looks better or worse on some phones. On mine, I'll show you right now. I'll put it up to the screen because I don't have it on there. It looks, frankly, really good, but well, actually, with the change they made last night, it looks good, but so you can see it and it's interactive, but it's not perfect. That is absolutely, and in fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. I won't go through our roadmap. We do have a roadmap. You can find it on our AppSumo promotion, but you'll notice mobile responsiveness. That is one bug that, excuse me, frankly worked really, really well for a long period of time. The one big thing that we changed was we now load our panel in an iframe, and that we worked on that about 2 months ago in order to mitigate potential CSS issues with people's websites. Well, the problem is that frankly broke a lot of stuff, including our mobile that used to look awesome. So we're just working on that right now. So some phones it looks great, others it doesn't look as great depending on the size of the phone at the moment.
Okay.
But yes, it does, and absolutely needs to work on phones.
Someone would like to know, can they see where we are calling from?
No. If somebody really wanted to, I'd be open to potentially showing that. I think that's actually, I don't know if you're worried about that, which if you are, no, it does not work like that. If you liked the idea of that, that's something I think we could definitely add in. But I would say it'd have to be programmatically, where it would just basically say, it'd have to be programmed in, hey, I'm calling from this, because right now it does not, the phone portion of that does not interact. I just feel like that was kind of a commoditized component, and everybody has a phone to make a phone call. It was the experience part that we really wanted to capitalize on without having any third party. So even our free product offers that tool. And if you have 300 call requests, it doesn't cost you a penny.
Okay. Lisa's asking, can we remove the branding? On the
AppSumo promotion, absolutely. And just to kind of show you where that is very, very quickly, panel settings, I didn't really highlight it. I'm not trying to hide it. I just was trying to go footer branding. You can click this button, turn it off. Now I'm on a free account. That's why it doesn't work. But your account, if you have the promotion, it'll just allow you to do it.
Awesome. And Armando would like to know, is there a history kept of the live chat interactions?
Yes, that is in fact, well, I didn't have a live chat, but if you go to your inbox, you've got your completed chats, your missed chats, your completed calls, and your missed call. You should see here that I had a completed call today, and that's where that shows up. So
Okay.
the same thing would happen with live chats. Yep.
And Bruce would like to know, are there page-specific announcements similar to Help Shelf, which is another tool AppSumo has, and that they could use as a proactive message?
Yeah. So currently, I think the way someone would want to use this is that they would create a proactive message, and then they would use the CTA for, and I did not go into it, and I apologize. They would want to go into our events timeline, use that as more of an announcement, more of like a, I won't name names, but there's companies who do announcements. But you would want to use that tool in that capacity, customize that CTA that says, check it out, and they'd click on that, which would then open up that tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lisa would like to know, can we see how the form integrates with a CRM? Now, in order for it to integrate with a CRM, they need to use Zapier, correct?
They do. I'll just show you ours. I mean, that way I don't have to set anything up. I mean, because
Sure.
we use it. We use both of them ourselves. So we have currently 2 Zaps set up. I promise. I don't know if you've never used Zapier. I'm frankly addicted to it. So a new contact form comes in. I mean, just to kind of walk you through it. I chose contact form. We chose our account. You could test your account. It's super, super simple. Then you go to your edit options. And the key here is, you'll want to choose your account. And then this is where you'll just, so now I'm set up with what I'm pulling in. And then the way we use it is we use Zoho because I love free, as you guys know. Although we do pay for Zoho, but Zoho does have a free version, and that's a great point that I'm kind of making, is that if you have nothing for free, or if you have nothing right now, you can use Zoho to set it up with and send your leads or whatever it might be to them. But yeah, you just come over here, you'd create the contact, and then with each one of these, it's just a flow. You go into edit options, and then you just, I don't want to show anything here. You show the different fields for people. So you just basically, you'll have to have, so really important, what you'll want to do is start by doing a test for each one of the fields for that form. Like let's say you're using your contact form. You'll want to have each one of the fields, have some test data, use that, and then when you go into the fields that you're dispositioning them within your CRM, that's where you'll basically say, oh, okay, for my last name, here's the last name that came in for that field. Super simple. We'd be happy. The video should show it to you, but if it doesn't, we'd be happy to set up a demo and show you how to use it.
All right. And are there any possible future chat integrations like Facebook Messenger?
Yeah, I mean, so one workaround right now is, and I wouldn't even call this a workaround, but if you really want to do this at the moment, you could use our link launcher, and you could say, chat with us via Messenger. And as anyone who probably knows, within your pages area, there's a link that will basically open it up so you can chat with somebody right there. So that's one way. I don't know. I just don't know. Possibly, yeah, I mean, we've spent so much time and we are working so hard to make our chat. One of the things I didn't mention is the fact, and I didn't show it to you because I couldn't really show it well, is that I actually got a patent on the ability to record a video in a live chat and send a real-time video. And I won't go into the backstory of why I think that's valuable, but I mean, we've put so much and invested so much into our live chat, even though we're still, making sure that's, something that somebody can fully rely on. I don't know, there'd be more work for us to have to trigger that to make it look good in concert. I think the value of our product is really having it all in one spot. So maybe, I just don't know at this point.
Okay. Do you have any plans to add a tool for scheduling and posting on social media? Sounds like a whole different tool.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand how that would kind of fit with our product. It's hard. Software these days is hard. Everyone knows this. It's on this call, and of course, Chris, this is that you get kind of when you do too much, people are like, oh, you do too many things, but then you don't do enough. There's not enough value, and it's always a catch-22. But I don't think so, because our focus is things that visitors will see top of funnel on your page. on your website.
Perfect. Is there an agency package for this?
There is not, but we are definitely working on that for sure. We're just figuring out how we want that to basically function and how it should all kind of fit together, because we do not want to rush into that. We know that especially with AppSumo links, that the way that's done is everything. So that could be about 3 months or so for something like that, because we're working on making this product stellar in the meantime. But then beyond that, there's a number of different things that we're trying to get feedback from people on how they want to see that. But yes, we will have that 100%.
Okay, good. And John, this is the last question. John says, I have clients who may want to sign up free initially. Are they always going to have the free features, or is this going to change? Meaning, will someone on a free account be grandfathered in to those free options?
Yeah, so I have no intentions of changing it or removing the free plan. What I can say is that we can't promise that we'll always offer the free plan, but what I will say is that if somebody was already on the free plan, we would never take it away. That just creates bad will, and I mean, assuming that we're in business, but things things should be great with all of the other products. And the free plan, this is a question that we get asked a lot, and the value to us is it's only one user, and also that branding is right there. So a lot of times people go, well, why would you offer free? That doesn't make any sense, and I don't get it. But the value is that if you have a number of visitors that come to your website and see our little branding and they find value in it, it's advertising for us. I'm very clear about that. For a lot of products that wouldn't work, but there's a visibility aspect, and there's a lot of people who have websites. So the point is that it still makes sense for us to use and offer the free plan to people.
Awesome. So Drew, why don't you let these guys know where they can get a hold of you if they have questions after this webinar?
Yeah, so the best email address is support@birdseed.io. That way it'll open a ticket, and we will get to it. Obviously our website is birdseed.io. Our phone number it should be right there on the website, but it's 407-545-3544. And yeah, that's probably the best way.
I have never heard a company give a phone number on a webinar. This is a first for me. Good for you.
Hey, I'm pretty sure anybody who's still on this and somebody having a panic attack is probably also a first. I didn't really have a panic attack. I was just like, I was so nervous about switching over. I'm like, so we've got all of our dev team kind of on another screen right here. And as I'm going through the beginning, I'm like, oh wait, am I going to show, so I was
falling apart.
So I apologize, guys, but that's probably a first for everybody, and we made it through it. So.
It's all good. It's all good. And so, guys, as I mentioned, there's going to be a replay of this webinar that I will email out to you later today. It'll also be up on YouTube. So Drew, thank you so much for doing this. And gang, thanks for hanging out with us on this Friday morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys.